Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Angels and Destiny Show. Why is this show called this, you may ask? So I'll tell you. The accepted meaning of evangelist messenger and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make firm establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And of course, I do like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I will introduce you to my wonderful guest, Mare Cromwell. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live at a later date, as it means a lot to both of us to connect with like-minded people. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Rae, and I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy. And I'm a spiritual guide and healer, passionate about helping you reconnect with your divine presence and step into your purpose. Now, through angelic Reiki, angel oracle cards, guided meditations, and exploring past and future lives, I support you in healing your past and creating a soul-aligned future. Now, my journey has taught me that with the right tools and guidance, we can all connect with our higher selves, embrace transformation, and live a life of abundance and fulfillment. Now, each episode of this show covers various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation or an oracle card reading, with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Mare Cromwell, about goddesses weaving global water healing. Now, Mare is the founder and director of the Great Mother Love Way. She has surrendered to serve the Great Mother to support the birthing of the new earth emerging now. Mare is an internationally known Gaia Mystic and High Priestess, visionary author and healer. Some might call her a medicine woman. Her close rapport with Mother Gaia has been recognized by a number of prominent Indigenous elders, including one Hawaiian elder who informed her that her work is in the native prophecies. Mare's award-winning books include two channeled ones with Mother Gaia, The Great Mother's Bible and Messages from Mother Earth Mother. Her first book is If I Gave You God's Number, Searching for Spirituality in America. Now, Mare has studied with the Native American elders for 26 years, along with other gifted spiritual teachers, and is the visionary behind the annual 1,000 Goddesses Gathering Global Grid and the apology ceremonies of the original peoples and their ancestors Global Grid, March 2023. Mare leads the Great Mother Love Way, a year-long course, and also offers webinars and workshops on New Earth gardening, nature spirits, womb wisdom, and more. Her long-distance healing practice is based out of Western North Carolina. So without further delay, hello, Mare, and a warm welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
Hi, Rae. It's really a pleasure to be here with you, and I'm good. The sun is shining here, and the leaves are coming out in the mountains here in Western North Carolina. The flowers are starting to pop up. So I'm thrilled to be with you. And I want to
You?
also add something. You and I started, we were going to do this in September, right after Hurricane Helene hit our region. And so we didn't have electricity for 9 days. And I thought, oh my God, among many other things, you reached out to me because you were watching the news. You were like, maybe we should postpone this. I said, yeah, because we don't have electricity right now. And we had to evacuate to Maryland for 9 days. But anyway, we were very blessed where I live here. We only had a tree hit part of our deck compared to so many. We were very blessed. But we've been trying to do this interview for months.
And
Here
it's
we
all
are. This is the
it's
time.
it's all divine timing. So before we get into what I know is going to be a fascinating conversation, I want to remind you not only can you share this video, but you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Mare and I want to be part of this conversation. So please don't be shy. And I can see that Janeki is here already, and she's looking forward to this conversation. So, Mare, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how we can be goddesses weaving global water healing?
It's a big question. Well, I'll start out with my journey. I have surrendered completely and totally to serve Mother Gaia. And this really came forward in a huge way 4 days after I was diagnosed with lymphoma cancer in early June of 2012. And a medicine man, an Algonquin medicine man, had asked me if I would do a ceremony with him because Gaia had asked him specifically for the two of us to do a ceremony. he had been working with her very clearly, very deeply, in a very connected way for many years. And she actually appeared to him one time on a trail when he was hiking. She appeared as a column of wispy vapor and said, "You know me as Gaia." And they had a 3-hour-long conversation. So his rapport with her was very deep. But she requested that we do this ceremony in early June 2012 and said to him at the time that she made the request that this was going to be healing for her. And we didn't know what that meant. And so 3.5 weeks later, I got a diagnosis of lymphoma and I'm freaking out. But I knew that I had to be at the ceremony. I knew I had to go. Nothing was going to stop me, even though I was in this terrified state of mind. And so I drove up to northern Pennsylvania. I was living in Maryland, a couple-hour drive. And we did this ceremony in a forest, a beautiful forest. And right before we started, he said, "I'm going to be bringing Gaia's energy and conscious into your energy body, but I don't know how you're going to disconnect." And what my response was, I'm not worried because I trust Mother and I already know my life is to serve Mother. I already knew that. I'd been an environmentalist for years, but studied with a Cherokee teacher for 14 years. And right at the end of this ceremony, I heard this booming voice come through my head, and I knew it wasn't my mind. And I heard this voice saying, "If you surrender to me to the extent I will ask you to surrender, I'll help you heal from the cancer without the doctors." And in that moment, I'm like, full on, yes, like 100% yes. So she had me, she really had me. And all these miraculous things started happening very quickly. Like the dolphins and whales came in on the spirit plane, and 10 days later, a week later, and invited me to go to the ocean. And in the Maryland, it was just a 3-hour drive. And I knew it was Mother calling me through them. And so I went to the ocean and did ceremony in the evening and sunrise ceremony. But on the way to the ocean, I filled my car up full, and the gas gauge stayed on full for 110 miles. Now, that doesn't happen. Someone pointed out to me when I was sharing the story afterwards, they said, "Yeah, if your gas gauge was broken, it would have been on E, would have been on empty." But it was on full, and then it started to go down normally after 110 miles. And as I was watching it stay on full, initially I'm like, oh God, now I have a mechanics bill I have to deal with, and I'm living off my savings, and I'm not working, and this is really a drag. And then it started to go down normally, and I said to Mother, "You must be doing this." And she said, "Yes, I am, my daughter. This is so you can trust me. I'm taking care of you." And I've had so many miracles like that. I could go on and on just about the miracles. But what happened when I went to the to the ocean, to the beach, was I was working. I just started another book, and I thought it was going to be about the divine feminine and the healing of the divine feminine, the rising of the divine feminine. But Mother she said, "I don't want you to do that book. I want you to do this other book." And she gave me the title. She gave me the table of contents. And she downloaded in me the first chapter that I heard from her, which was a message to us women. And it was a message from, really, Mother Gaia is our foremost mother. A lot of people don't even know she exists as a very powerful spiritual being. So it was a message from her to us women, how much she misses us, honoring her, doing ceremony to her, really recognizing her in our lives and calling on her to support us and to reciprocate with our love back to her. So at the end of our time together, I'll lead a very short meditation on connecting to Mother Gaia's heart, because I love doing that meditation. So that was the beginning of this huge adventure that I'm still on. And I go through phases where I don't hear that clearly. I'm going through one of those quiet phases right now, which is really frustrating for me. But it's a time when I'm doing a lot of inner healing work. And I know she's here. Like when I tune in, she's like, "I'm right here. I'm here. I'm holding you. Trust me, trust me." So then she asked me a year and a half later, after I had to go to get another CT scan because I had a gallbladder attack. And that CT scan showed that all my lymph nodes were back to normal, completely healed a year and a half later. My physician, who I'd been avoiding for a year and a half, I really was avoiding him. I didn't work with any oncologists. He gave me a lot of free rein. He knew I was into a lot of alternative stuff, but he could not believe that my cancer was healed on my own. And he called me. He said, "How did you do this?" He says, "I'm amazed." And I said, "Well, a lot of ceremony." I mean, how do you explain to someone that Mother Gaia is holding you in the palm of her hand and healing you with all of her spirit teams? Because she's got a lot of spirit teams she works with. Um, but I healed from it after a year and a half. But then that same fall that was happening, that I got the CT scan, and Mother woke me up at 5, which is one of her ways of really getting my attention, and said, "I want you to now write the Great Mother Bible." And I have to say, I balked at that. I really was like, "I can't do that, Mother. That's way too big of a title. I can't write a book with the word Bible in the title." And she said, "Yes, you can. You're the one. You're the one." She kept on repeating that. And sure enough, January 2nd, like a month and a half later, it just started. Waking up 4 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, and conversations with Mother that are all woven into that second book with her. I'm actually working on a third one now called Gaia's Web of Love, which I started really intensively this November and December, and now it's kind of on hold. It's gestating. So there's another one brewing in the background here that I can't wait to finish. I can't wait. So that's the beginning of my journey with Mother. And now you also asked the big question: what about goddesses weaving water healing around the planet? One of the projects that Mother Gaia asked me to do is organize the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering. And the story behind this is there's a wonderful woman named Claire Dubois. I don't know if you know of her, but she started Tree
I've heard of
Sisters.
her.
And yeah, she's phenomenal. She's very charismatic, very visionary. And she started Tree Sisters. And one of her fundraising campaigns for a number of years, and she still shares the story, is talking about the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering, the 1,000 Goddesses prophecy. And it's a Tibetan prophecy that when 1,000 goddesses or Tibetan Taras unite, this will shift the tone of our sacred earth from fear to compassion, which is a really powerful prophecy. I mean, I think if we just pause and take in that energy, and visualize, and even in this moment, we can call in the goddesses to hold us. The divine feminine is incredibly powerful. The divine masculine is incredibly powerful. And we are living in a time where we all need to heal into our divine feminine and divine masculine aspects. But when I read this appeal that Claire had put on Facebook about the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering, and she was using it to invite women to donate to Tree Sisters, when I read that, Mother Gaia said to me, "And you're going to organize that in the physical." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" And I said to her, "Okay, and you're going to help me, right? Because that's a really big project." And of course, she said yes. And I thought originally that this was going to be like a weekend event. We were going to have vendors, we were going to have tickets, we were going to have all these women come and divine feminine dancing and goddess mantras and who knows what. I mean, there was a vision of this big event. But Mother has a plan, which is one of my credos, because I live by Mother guiding me. She woke me up at 5 in the morning again. The following summer, it was late July 2016, and she said, "This needs to happen this fall in Washington, D.C." Before the elections, which I had 2.5 months to organize it, basically. Because I said, "Oh, well, when do you want me to do this?" And I got up and I looked at the calendar on the wall, and it was boom, like October 20th, I think was the date. It was the 3rd October Saturday. I kind of gulped and I went, "Oh my God, all right, you want me to, all right." And so it was very stressful, I have to be honest. But people showed up. I had amazing volunteers. And we did high ceremony on the Washington Mall.
Wow.
And a wonderful, very gifted Yoruba high priestess, an Oshun high priestess, led the ceremony. And she actually started like channeling in the middle of it, and she guided how we were going to set it up with different altars to the 4 directions and drumming circles, and And in the middle of the ceremony, a couple of light workers saw this. One of them was even long distance because she could really gifted. She could tune in. She said, this woman contacted me later that afternoon. I was so fried, when the whole day was over, I was fried. She said a massive conduit of white light came in to your ceremony in the middle of the Washington Mall. Do you feel this energy as I'm saying this?
Yeah,
Because
I'm
people
getting,
usually feel
yeah,
it. Yeah. A massive conduit of white light came in, and she said it radiated deep into the ground where your ceremony was. And then it spread all this beautiful light and love, luminous love energy throughout the center of DC. And she said it cleared in a very large way the White House, the Capitol building, even the Pentagon was within that circle. It's like a 3 mile radius where it was concentrated. And I was floored, but I know that a lot of people that were there that day really felt it. And they were either really energized or they kind of had to crawl to get to the metro to get home because the energy was so much for them. But everybody got home safely. It was not an issue of anybody being overwhelmed too much. And I sent a spiritual energy report out to everybody who had registered. 2 weeks later, I sent this out once I wrote it up. And this woman contacted me from the Pentagon. And she said, I read your report, and I've got to tell you that I thought it was me and my experiences at the Goddess Gathering. But I have felt and witnessed a shift in the energies here in the Pentagon where there's a lot less shadow masculine energy. And she said, now I know what the source of it was. It was the ceremony, Thousand Goddesses Gathering ceremony on the Washington Mall. I was like, wow. It's kind of like, you can't make this stuff up. Wow. And so we didn't do a ceremony the next year. I needed to take a year off to regroup. But the following year, in 2018, we did another ceremony on the Washington Mall, and another conduit of white light came in. And someone actually videotaped that. And I never was able to get a copy of the videotape. I was really bummed about that. But he said, I saw it come in. I got it on my videotape, like this big band of white light. And apparently, according to this powerful light worker I was working with, she said it was from the great central sun and that it was divine masculine energy coming in to really be protective, guardian, clearing energy for the heart of DC. So that was the beginning of the odyssey here with the Thousand Goddesses Gathering. And from there, it's a lot of work to organize an event on the Washington Mall. And I asked on the spirit plane after that second one, I said, do I have to do another one on the Washington Mall? And the guidance was no. It's like I had fulfilled that part of my soul contract, because it's all soul contract work. I know it is.
yeah,
And that's been confirmed for me. But after that, I was guided and told, now you're creating global grids of ceremonies. So from 2019 onward, every year we've organized a calling out to women's circles, sacred circles, goddess circles, divine feminine circles, full moon circles, anybody who wants to join us. Once a year in the fall, we have one day where we all come together in our various locations around the world and create a global grid, a unified field of healing for the planet. And people feel it. People respond to me later. Like, I had a woman in Germany email me 2 or 3 years ago. I didn't know her from Boo. She said, I need to know who you are because I am still feeling the energies from the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid that we participated in, that we did a ceremony in Germany. And I'm still feeling the energies. And I'm feeling energies just coming through me as I'm sharing this with you.
yeah.
So
I can feel it as well. My hairs on my arms are coming up.
yeah, yeah, it's always really reinforcing when the energies come in because it confirms that there's some big spirit teams behind this. I mean, Mother Gaia, I've gotten into some of her spiritual councils. I work with some of them. One of them is, I call them her foremost council, and they're based here within the earth, made up of some of the overarching dragon beings on the planet, nature spirit beings, other multidimensional beings that are like they're not hierarchical the way we think in our Western mindset. It's more like they vibrate at a much higher spiritual frequency, and they are all working very, very closely with Mother Gaia, with the ushering in of our new earth. There's another council that I'm aware of and that I have been working closely with, and they're really the ones that I connect with deeply for organizing this event every year, because they're called the Family of One. They're in the universal realms, and from what I understand, Mother Gaia and the Virgin Mary sit on the Divine Feminine Council, and there's a Divine Masculine Council too, and they really are a oneness, and the energies behind them are so beautiful, and I call on them for luminous love often. And so I tune in and I ask for their support in organizing the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid every year, and they guide me.
Yeah, I mean that
So,
is just it's just so amazing. You know, when we trust, you know, in Gaia, in the universal energies, that everything works how it's supposed to work without us sort of like you know, not doing anything, but you know, sort of like putting things in place and then just allowing it to happen.
you know, and I'm going to be really transparent here. I don't always trust. You know, I'm as human as the next person. I have my insecurities. I have my woundedness. I had a pretty difficult childhood. Um, I so this is really a journey for me, and there are times I'm like, I don't ask this so much now, but there are times where I'm like, Mother, why me? Why me? You know, why am I the one that you've asked to do this? I mean, write the Great Mother Bible. Come on now. And but it's like I've gotten to know, though, over the years, even when I have my moments of deep, deep doubt, and I'm going through one of those right now, I have to be honest. But still, things keep on manifesting subtly. And one friend just said, "Look, you know, you just need to get out of the way because it's happening. Trust it, trust it." I'm like, I know, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. Uh, but you know, apparently, wherever I came from on a soul level, this is what I agreed to do. And friends of mine, like there's a wonderful woman named Emmy Mutali who you should interview. You should have her on your show. She's a tremendous womb wisdom holder, shamanic womb healer. And she has a sense of it takes a lot of energy for me and my spirit teams to hold space for these global grids.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy. And somehow I was born with this capability. I can tell you by the end of the day and the next day, I'm pretty fried. You know, I'm like on the floor because it's a lot of energy. Uh, but the spirit teams that come in are so beautiful and powerful and humbling to be. And I don't know all of them. I don't know all of them at all. But I know that they're there, and I do trust when we're really in the midst of it. I do trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this brings us. Well, go ahead. You were going to ask a question or say
Yeah, no,
something.
so it just goes to show that we are, you know, we still have that human side of us, which is, you know, which is what we are here to be, to experience that human side, you know, that sometimes we don't, you know, we don't trust, you know, well, deep down we do, but our heart is saying we trust, but our brain is going, no, I'm not sure about this. But we know in our heart that we should, but our brain just goes, yeah, I'm not sure about this one. So it just makes us, you know, that is one of the things if we weren't in physical form, we wouldn't be able to experience that. And then when we do surrender to that trust, be absolutely, you know, in that moment going, wow, this is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust is a key word, especially these days. Things are happening so fast, and there's so much change happening so fast. I'm feeling challenged. I'm an American. I'm over here in this country that's got some interesting dynamics. But I know Mother has been telling me for years that she has a plan. There's a much greater plan afoot. And I have to keep on coming back to her sharing that to me and trust, because she doesn't give me all the details at all. And I just know that it's like, keep on choosing the love, choosing the love, choosing the love, coming back to love, coming back to compassion, holding space. And then I go out and I ask the trees to hold me when I'm feeling really hammered. I do, because they're actually, the trees are reaching out to us right now in a huge way. They know what we're going through and what's coming down the pike. They've got their own councils. And speaking of trees, I want to mention that the most recent Thousand Goddesses Gathering was actually a global tree grid. It was Global Tree Love Day. And I have connected with some phenomenal tree communicators. I mean, there are times I can communicate with the trees, but not as clearly as some people I know. And the feedback that they received from the trees in advance of the day and then after the day was that, first of all, the trees were feeling the energy building as we were planning the event, because all these people around the world were gathering to do ceremony to love up the trees. And trees are antennae. You know, they're conduits of energy from the universal realm straight to Mother Gaia's heart. And the really ancient ones are highly, highly evolved. And even some of the young ones. I wouldn't say, well, I have to be careful how I word that. Trees possess a lot more sentience and intelligence than we were ever taught in our Western culture. And so for that event, leading up to it and then afterwards, people said, who were really tuned in, they said there was an uptick in the global field of energy around the planet. And that's one of the purposes of the Thousand Goddesses Gathering, is to raise the spiritual frequency of the planet. And the power of ceremony, when we do it in serving the highest good for divine plan alignment, for Mother Gaia, for the new earth, is healing for everybody. Healing for Mother Gaia, healing for all the spiritual ones, healing for the trees, and healing for us. So this is what this is about. Yeah.
Yeah, which is absolutely amazing, and I can agree with you with trees. I love trees, and obviously we were talking about my tree earlier, and but the non-negotiable is it's got to have its own trees, because I'm so connected to trees. I mean, in a previous lifetime, I was actually and the energy of a tree. I was a tree in a past life, so I,
Oh,
I
yeah,
I
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like so connected with the trees, and they're kind of like their own, they have their own communication, which is something that, when we think about the technology that's come through, because obviously trees, their root systems, they all talk to each other. A tree here can be talking to a tree in America, it can be like that. And we have the technology, and sometimes it's remembering that we have to have that balance of not going too far in technology, but to, take on allow the power of nature to actually thrive.
Yeah, and I think what we are missing, with our technology and those who are convinced that technology is the answer, is we as humans haven't evolved, I think, to a level of wisdom, understanding technology and how technology can be used for our highest good and also Mother Gaia's highest good. They're not considering the vast intelligences of the elementals. I mean, the weather, for the most part, is controlled by the elementals. People blame climate change for everything and the burning of fossil fuels. And yes, that is having an impact. But there are councils of elemental beings in the spirit realm that are controlling the weather for the most part. And they're ramping things up because this is the time of cleansing. This is the time of clearing a lot of dense energies that need to go in order for the new earth to come in. So there are those intelligences, there are the vast intelligences of the trees. I mean, there's an incredible live oak, a California live oak, and I'll make this a brief story as best I can. But one of the people that I've gotten to know in organizing the Global Tree Love Day last fall is an incredible woman named Basha Alexander and her partner, Jim Conroy. They are tremendous tree communicators, and he actually goes and heals them. He has clients that bring them onto their properties who can afford his services to heal their trees, because trees get sick too. Their circulation starts to weaken. But Basha and Jim were on a private piece of property in the San Francisco Bay Area. And on this property were a lot of beautiful old trees. One of them in particular, Basha approached while Jim was working on another tree because she was scoping out some of the ones that he was going to come to next. And she asked permission to interact, to communicate. And the tree said to her, "Go away, not right now." And she was, kind of floored. And so she backed off and she told her husband, Jim, "You might want to check out this tree. I hope it's willing to work with you because it told me to go away." And the tree was receptive to him. So he did the healing regimen that he does. And then she went back later, shortly after that, and said, "Is it okay now?" And the tree said, "Welcome, yes." And the tree gave her, it's a 400-year-old live oak. The tree gave her the story of how when she first approached, it was meditating with a grid of oaks around the planet. And every day, these trees meditate together to hold the energetic grid and support all the oak trees around the planet. Can you feel this energy as I'm saying this?
Yeah.
And then there was more to this story, because the tree then told her that it was planted by a Native American medicine man 400 years or so before, prior to any white settlers coming in or conquistadors, because they were getting messages on the spirit plane that a group of people were coming in who didn't know peace. And so this medicine man said, "Okay, I'm going to plant some trees for peace to hold the peace energy." And this was one of the seedlings that he started. And he knew that the location where he was planting it, there was a spring under the ground, and there was. And so this tree is still living right now and still working with a grid of oaks around the planet. And told, they've lost some of their members of their grid because of deforestation, people cutting down their trees, dying. So anybody listening right now, we can all send love to this tree because it will help them. All of the oaks, all the trees, they all respond when we send love to them. So when she told me that story, I'm like, holy cow, this story needs to go far and wide. And another friend, I asked another gifted friend to tune into this tree, and he said, "Oh my," he said, "that tree is at a conscious level beyond any human he had ever connected with." And he's very gifted. He can sense the conscious level of people and what dimensions they're working with. He says that tree's at such a high level, it's beyond any human. And actually, I can tell the tree's listening right now. The tree's name is Trilania. I'm getting all these chilly bumps up and down my leg. Yeah. So it's so important to wake up, wake up, wake up. The nature spirits want us to wake up, reconnect with us, because we used to, thousands of years ago, communicate with all of them really clearly. And I have friends who communicate really clearly with them and can see them really clearly. And I can hear them and I can feel them to some degree, depending on how clear I am. But they're all waiting for us to come home. This is part of birthing the new earth. So when we talk about technology and the wisdom and the intelligence within technology, we have to remember our humility also, and that we're surrounded by all this intelligence that surpasses our human intelligence, which a lot of people have no idea. They don't know this. They think that humans are the be-all and end-all. So thank you for allowing me to share all that. I'm very opinionated about this, but it's not just opinionated. I mean, this is part of my work for Mother, is share this information. And I'm actually, after we get off here, I'm going to be working on my Earth Day email to recommend that everybody go outside and open your heart to a tree or a group of trees near you and just sit with them. Open your heart to them and ask for their healing energy. Yeah, it's so important. We have to reweave the web of love.
Yeah,
With this actually woven. We have to. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. It's something I do on a regular basis. I've got a rowan tree that I planted in my garden when I first moved here, 18 years ago. When I go for a walk around the lakes, there's trees there. So I'm always, anywhere I go, if there's trees or anything, I'll connect with them, I'll talk to them. Yeah, I think everyone should be involved with trees. But as I said, I was a tree once, so
So I had a question for you. Were you a dryad?
yes,
Aha,
yes,
beautiful.
yes, yes. I
I
was
can
the
see that.
in the
I can
tree.
see
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh,
It was yes, it was beautiful. Hence why my connection with trees now, and why I'm
uh-huh.
so passionate um,
Yeah.
about them. So where does the water come in? Because obviously we've
Yes,
we've all
yes.
heard of Emoto and the water experiment. So how does water come into, weaving with the goddesses?
Well, yeah. So, yeah, Masaru Emoto's work was so profound because, as most people are aware, he did photographs of water crystals of different types of water from different sources to start with, and then playing music to the water and putting words on the water bottles. It was all very scientifically controlled. And so the water comes in
Oh,
because right after I organized a Thousand Goddesses gathering last fall, and it was November 2nd was the date. I took a week-long retreat. I was pretty exhausted. And as soon as I got back, I do my best ceremony in the bathtub, honestly. I call my spirit teams, I call Mother Gaia, and I was really wide open and, thinking, okay, I'm going to be recouping for the next 2 weeks. Well, 3 weeks, whatever. And Mother Gaia came in so strongly. She said, now I want you to organize another event to happen at the end of November. I'm like, oh, you're giving me 3 weeks for this one? Oh, great. Because here in North Carolina, when Hurricane Helene came in, and it happens everywhere where we have tremendous weather events where there's a lot of flooding, there were a lot of toxins that got washed into the river, and then toxins in the sediment that got washed up. And then when the rivers flooded over their banks, they left sediment that was laden with these toxins. The waters were more toxic. I mean, there were nuclear waste barrels that got flooded into the river. There were chemical dump sites, hazardous waste Superfund sites that are on the United States along the banks of the Swananoa, and so people were getting sick. The dogs were getting sick. Some of the dogs had to be put to sleep because of the exposure to these toxins, and it was really discouraging because the weather had calmed down, everyone was regrouping, and I mean, it was very traumatic. There were a lot of people lost their homes, some people lost their lives. I don't even know the final fatal count of the floods. It was pretty devastating. But then we had the issue with the toxins, and they're called, persistent chemicals for a reason. They're known to last thousands of years or upwards of 1,000 years. So Mother said to me, I want you to organize a prayer event and call on everyone in the global grid, everyone in your mailing list, and rally people in Asheville and the surrounding areas, because I live near Asheville, which was so flooded, and ask everyone to focus their prayers on the water and the toxins and to send love to the toxins, to ask them to transmute into source energy and inert, you know, um, molecules. And I went, wow, okay, yeah, I can do this. I didn't balk. I don't know why. I should have balked, but I didn't. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. I was feeling pretty energized, I guess. And so we did that the Friday after Thanksgiving in the United States, which was the last Friday of November. And I got a really powerful message from a woman, a friend of mine who did it in the DC area at a stream, and she tuned in and got that the toxins had received the energy and were willing to transmute. And actually, right when Mother gave me that message, and I'm lying in the bathtub going, okay, now we have mission B here. I even reached out on the spirit plane to what I would call the overarching conscious of toxins. It's actually more complicated than that. And I heard from them, yes, we are very willing to transmute, but we need the boost of energy. And this is where, love is the most powerful force in the universe. And prayer, there's all this research on prayer,
Mm.
how people have healed, even research on people praying over water as if the water was a really sickly friend of theirs or family member with a terminal illness. And there were toxic chemicals in the water, and the water transmuting, the chemicals transmuting so they could drink the water at the end. Not that they did, but the scientists determined that the water was safe to drink because of the power of prayer. And so we did that in November. And now the spiritual call is this fall, we're going to do it again, but as a global grid, and invite sacred circles all over the world. Go to your local waterways, go to your local ponds, go to, urban rivers, gather your circles and do ceremony and pray and send love to the water and to the toxins. Really be specifically focused on love to the toxins. Because my sense is that they know they're not in alignment with Mother Gaia. They're not in alignment with universal law and all the harmony and the balance and the great again complexity of intelligence within the natural realms. They were not created in alignment with all of that balance and harmony. So this is what we're doing, and this is where everybody is invited. And literally just before you and I got on here, I sent an email to the Emoto Peace Project and the World Water Festival Matsuri, who was started by Masaru Emoto's son, because they were sponsors of the event in November. They came on board really, really fast, which was so humbling. And they have a big event every September, and it's right around the equinox. It's September 20th, 21st, 22nd, somewhere around there, whatever that Saturday is. And it's the same weekend as World Peace Day. So it's to join in with all of those beautiful efforts around the planet. But with the Thousand Goddesses Gathering, we're really going to be focusing on the water and healing, really loving up the toxins. I mean, how often do you think about loving up toxins? Most people are like, but everything deserves love, and love is the ultimate healing.
Yeah, it totally is. And again, it's something you can do with yourself as well. If you've got a cold or something like that, a virus, talk to the virus, talk to what's going on with you, and say, can you know
Mm,
can we work together, for this to move quicker,
yeah, yeah.
can you transmute into something else? Because obviously we are predominantly water.
Yeah, yeah. I keep on reading different percentages. Like we're 90% water, we're 80% water. Uh, so we are water too. And I'm coming to the realization that water is liquid love. And Veda Austin, I don't know if you know of her work, but
Yeah,
she's taken Masaru Emoto's work to another level. And she talks about how water is liquid crystals. But to me, I'm really at a place where water is liquid love. And if we treated it from that place, oh my gosh, we would be living so differently. We'd be living so differently. We'd be treating our bodies with a lot more love. But I totally agree with what you're saying. When I had the lymphoma, I was talking to the lymph nodes in my body that were sick, and I was sending them love. And I actually got lymphoma again. I was going through a really rough time right at the beginning of COVID, and I was diagnosed again. I was so exhausted. I'm like, oh God. But Mother said to me, "This is just a bump in the road. This is just you have a lot more work to do on the physical plane." But I received a message from the consciousness of cancer. Mother said to me, "I want you to reach out to cancer and get a message." And I ended up putting it on a YouTube channel. But a large part of it was cancers. What I heard was, we want you to love us because we are teachers for you. We are teachers for you to heal, to come back into balance. if someone is going to pass over because of cancer, we're teachers for your loved ones, for you on your soul journey. It was really powerful, and I was kind of blown away by what I heard. But it came back to love versus fear.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So, as you know, I normally do guided meditation and angelic card readings, and each week I like to ask my guests what they would like. But I'm thinking if Mare does her little guided meditation, and then I'll pull a card for Mare and everyone watching. How's
Oh,
that
that would be
sound?
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, let me take a little sip of water and
Yeah.
okay. So this is a brief activation called Mother's Love Cord. And I won't tell you the whole background story. I will share that on my website, which I know you're going to put on here, greatmotherlove.earth. There's a longer version on my website to download for free. So on that note, inviting everyone to be sitting comfortably, your feet on the ground, and close your eyes. And now I invite you to visualize taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Visualize a beautiful ribbon of energy starting at the top of your spine, right at the base of your head. And just allow this beautiful ribbon of energy to start going down your spine. Going down your spine. And it can be any color that comes to you. It could even be rainbow. Whatever comes to you is perfect. And allow this ribbon of energy to come all the way down to the point where it reaches your tailbone. Beautiful. And when it reaches your tailbone, drop the end of this ribbon of energy all the way down to Mother Gaia's heart in the center of the planet. And know that she is so ecstatic that you are extending this beautiful ribbon of energy down to her heart. And she's opening her heart up and grasping the end of it and pulling it to the very, very center of her heart. This is how much she loves us. She's bringing you right to the very, very center of her heart. Beautiful. And now I want you to bring your attention to your heart and feel in your heart the love and gratitude that you have for Mother Gaia for everything that she's done for you. Because all the food that you've been able to eat, all the delicious food, all the wonderful water and liquids that you've been able to drink, juices or whatever, the air that you breathe, coming from the plants, the trees, those in the plant community, these are all actual gifts from Mother Gaia through all of her beloved children. Even the minerals that make up our bones are from the food that we eat, that source from Mother Gaia. So feel in your heart your love and your gratitude for Mother and all that she's gifted you with. The very fact that you even have a body is a gift from Mother. And then send this love and gratitude down to your tailbone, down this love cord connection straight to Mother Gaia's heart. And you may even feel a shift in your energy when you do that because you're starting to anchor to her heart with your love and your gratitude. Beautiful. And then ask Mother, call out to Mother and ask her to send her love up this love cord connection, straight up into your tailbone, into your root chakra, into your energy body, into your heart. She's filling you with her love. So much love. It's amazing how much love she has for us when we truly connect with her and we open up to her. And then one more time from your heart, feel that love and that gratitude for all that you've been blessed with here in this earth walk, this incarnation. And send it down. Send it down your love cord connection with Mother Gaia, straight to her heart. And now you're really anchoring this connection. And take another deep breath in. And release that breath. And then gradually open your eyes. Come back to the space here with Rae and myself. And feel that shift in your energy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That was absolutely gorgeous. And what was absolutely interesting, because normally when I work with light or light comes in, it's either a rainbow or it's rose gold or it's white. But this ribbon was literally a blue silver that went
Mm.
down, which was very unusual for me to actually get that color. So that was absolutely beautiful.
Ooh, I'm getting chilly bumps on that. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So everyone that's watching this live or the replay, put in the comments if you're happy to share publicly how that was for you, or how you felt. And obviously, when I put the details, then go and check out the full meditation. So I'm now going to pull a card for Mare and everyone watching. So. And as always, when I do the cards, I pull the cards for what you need to know for your highest good at this moment in time. Because even though I work with the past, with past life, it's and when we go to the past, it's so we can learn, heal, and grow from, so that it doesn't affect us in the present. And when I take people into the future, it's to see, know, and understand what your future is, how you can get there, so that you come back to the present, so you're not worried about the future. So, what does everyone who's watching this need to know for their highest good at this moment in time? Okay, so we have got embracing enthusiasm, shout to the heavens with happiness. How beautiful is that card?
Uh, that's so perfect.
I mean, I mean, absolutely perfect. As always, it ties in with everything we've been talking about. And it's confirmation to you. That enthusiasm you have for bringing all these goddesses together. And it is shout to the heavens with happiness, to Gaia, to the universe.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
real confirmation for everything you're doing, and for everyone who's watching. Find that enthusiasm for life, for being alive now, and shout to the heavens and thank the universe, the angels, Gaia, Luna, the sun, for being alive at this moment in time, and just allow that gratitude, that thanks, to overflow and feel it coming back to you. And you'll be amazed about how you feel afterwards. So,
Mm, thank you. Boy, I just got like this wave of beautiful energy with you doing that. Thank you.
no, you are welcome. So, Mare, do you have any insights or thoughts or last words of wisdom to leave our viewers?
First of all, know how much you are loved, how much Mother Gaia loves every single one of us, and Creator, Source, Great Mystery, Mother, Father, God, whatever term you want to use, how much they love us. And that we are all divine beings. We're all divine. And when we really accept that and embrace it, our lives shift. Our lives really shift. And lastly, all these trees, all the flowers, all the plants, the waters are all very, very conscious and offering us love and asking us to come home. Mother Gaia is asking us, we have to come home to her. So reconnect. Reconnect with the love. It's a field of love. It's a web of love. It's there. They're waiting for us to reconnect.
Beautiful. Thank you so, so much. So I hope everyone, you've enjoyed this conversation and found it insightful, because I know I definitely have. So if people want to connect with you, Mare, how do they do that? And anything else coming up at the moment? And obviously remind us about the free gift.
Yeah, you can always contact me through my website, which is greatmotherlove.earth. And I do have an event coming up in May in Ireland. I'll be there for 2 weeks. I'm going to be reconnecting with my ancestors and doing ceremony in the ancient stone circles. And I'm just being so called. It's like off the charts being called. But I'm leading a ceremony on New Earth gardening and Gaia's Web of Love. So it's Saturday, the 18th of May in Tipperary. I know maybe somebody listening knows somebody who's there who would like to join. You can find out about that on my website. And the other thing is the Thousand Goddesses Gathering. It's happening this fall. I'm pretty certain it's going to be either September 21st, 22nd, 23rd, one of those days. And everyone is invited to join. Anyone can do ceremony. You don't have to be trained in it. It's all about loving up the waters and the toxins. Yeah, I think that covers it. Am I supposed to share
Yeah.
something else?
No. That is absolutely, and I will in the comments and in the description after the show, I'll put all those details in so that you can actually find out more, get your free gift, and hopefully join in with the thousand goddesses at the equinox in
Yeah,
September.
fall equinox. And
Yeah.
one more thing I just realized is Earth Day is next week. Earth Day is celebrated the 22nd of April, and every day is Earth Day, really. But the invitation Mother wants me to put out, and I'm putting my newsletter out about this shortly, is go out and just sit with a tree or a group of trees and open your heart to them. It will be a field around the planet of healing for us humans, because we're going through a lot right now, and for the trees. So that's my final sort of announcement. Please
And it's
join.
an Yep, and it's an absolutely perfect announcement to leave it on. I'm all for connecting with trees. So again, thank you, Mess, so much for sharing your wisdom. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. And of course, for those watching, if you are ready for even more clarity and transformation, then I'd love to invite you to a free Soul Path Discovery video call where during our time together, I'll pull a couple of angel oracle cards to help you gain clarity and uncover guidance from your higher self or the angels. This is your chance to reflect, connect, and gain insight on your path forward. And I'd be truly honoured to chat with you one to one, guide you, and help you take the next step toward living the life you're always meant to live. And of course, I do have a couple of incredible free gifts for you, designed to help you connect more deeply with your guides and explore your future and the angels. So check out the link in the comments after the show to grab yours. And again, thank you everyone so much for watching. And I'd like to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more people who feel lost, want to get clear on their destiny, just like you. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't yet, then please subscribe. It is free, and hit that bell button to be notified of when this show goes live. Mother Show, Oracle Cards and Meditation, Your Weekend Reset, which goes out live every Friday at 3:20 p.m. UK time. Or I post new guided meditations, or a cup of spirituality, which will be going out this Thursday. And remember, every time you like, share, comment on any of my offerings, on any of Mare's offerings, any of my guests' offerings, social media, etc., you're really helping build that web of energy of that information, of raising the consciousness and helping to heal not just the planet but ourselves as well. So we all play a part in this beautiful web of life. And I look forward to you all joining me same time, same place next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.